Hey everyone, this video is part 3 of my edit recorded shows tutorial. It's for the converter box Viewtv AT-163 and AT-300 series. Basically, this video is going to talk about sound correction to get the audio synced with the video. Of course, I'm using AvidemuX 2.5.6. So let's get into describing what's going on here. First, you would, as you can see, you have the video, you have the audio represented here in the middle, and then the video displayed in like individual frames, which is what MTS files are made of. And if you want to go back through this, view my part 1. This goes through this quite eloquently. So we want to move the audio. The method I chose in part 1 was just to do the shift. Now I've run into a problem. My recent 720p or 1080 shows have been a lot longer in the how the audio was off. Before they were like 400 milliseconds, or 400 milliseconds, but recently they've gone up to 1,700 milliseconds. That's 1.7 seconds. That's way too much, because what happens is as you can see in this diagram up here of the frames in red, that's what you get rid of. Once you get rid of those, you still have part of this 1.7 seconds of commercials. As you can see in this diagram up here at the top, the AA represents the audio, but you'll have 1.7 seconds bleeding into or over the top of your show. So this method I'm going to teach you, probably you already know how to do it. I didn't until I came up with this problem here recently. I kind of wanted to get it a little bit more professional. Came up with this different method. So quickly, at the beginning of the video, you'd go and look at someone talking and change this value. Since everything starts at 0, anything to move it to the left is in the negative. So start at 200 milliseconds, keep going until the mouth syncs with what the audio is. And you might need an i3 or better to accomplish this, because my dual core will not cut it. So just a word there for faster PCs. So once you have this number, you hit play, make sure it is the audio is with the lips when they move, then go to the end and see if it's kept the same. If it has not, if the lips are off a lot more than or drastically different, there might be some damage to the MTS, like signal strength was lost. And whenever that happens, the pixelization in the audio goes off. The time shift changes. So, and it's unpredictable. Sometimes I've had it go into the positive before, which is crazy. But that's how much this audio can shift if you have like signal drop off. So if that's okay, if it's synced at the beginning and the end with the audio because of this shift, then you know it's a good MTS file. So we're ready to continue if that's the case. If there's damage, you might just have to just get rid of it. Otherwise, you'd have to take sections and save them as individual MTS files. Maybe you might have to take 5 or 6 different sections and make their own MTS, and then adjust the shift to those individual MTS, and then append all of them for a final MTS file. That's the only other way I could think about doing it, and I have done that in the past. So let's say you have a pristine MTS file. You take this number. Now, you do not need to shift it anymore. It's just keep that number in there so you know it. Now, this next method, this is the new method I'm going to teach you. You've probably already dabbled with it maybe. So we're working with MPEG files. So we go in here into the information, file and information. And of course it's MPEG. And then the audio codec is AC3. So that's important. That's what we need to save the embedded audio as. So we need to actually set this audio here. Just keep it at 128 bits. Now, the filter, the AC3 audio has many audio inside of it for the surround. So however many tracks that is, a handful. So you can either let it stay the way it is, or what I like to do is just make it stereo. You'll need an audio editor that can handle multiple audio tracks in one AC3 file. I recommend OCEN audio. It has an annoying commercial link to it, but it does handle it. Okay, I'm going to hit stereo. And so we're ready to save this file. Now, anyone out there who has tried the shift and save, I don't know if that actually shifts the audio. I don't think it does. Not when you save the audio from the MTS. I don't think the shift will shift it at all. It's only in the final MTS it does. So what we're going to do is we're going to, oh, by the way, when you open your project, your MTS file, it cannot have any edits, anything cut out of it. So this would be the first thing you would do. You would open up your show, your MTS file, and do the audio without doing any edits. So you would just go to audio and save. So this audio is the raw AC3. So whatever your show is named, or whatever this is named, just add a -raw to it. That's way we know that it hasn't been touched. So we hit save. Save will maybe take a minute and a half or so, depending on how long, whatever, to get that out there to an individual file. So then, after it saves, we open that file, the raw AC3, with your audio editor, and then right at the very beginning, we take out the 1,700 milliseconds. So we'd highlight that much in milliseconds at the very beginning and then hit cut, and then go completely to the end and either generate the same amount of milliseconds of silence or paste that audio, however you want to do it, back to the end, 1,700 milliseconds. Okay, then you'd hit save. So you'd save this file as -adjusted.ac3 and save. So we've got the adjusted audio, AC3, as a file. So at this point, we go to audio, we go to main track, and instead of using the video audio, and it has the AC3, and for this video, I choose stereo. So this will say probably whatever, 6-channel, whatever, 5-channel. So you would go to external AC3. Now you can do, like, instead of AC3, you could do an MP3 or whatever, but I just choose to use the native format. So you go to external AC3 and then pick the adjusted AC3 and then hit OK. So this is ready to make another MTS file with the changes of the adjusted AC3. So that's our goal, is to make another MTS file. So it'll probably be another 4 gig long. So you go and hit save. So that new adjusted AC3 will be in this new MTS file. So this is it. You just add the -new MTS. That's how I label my new files, and then just hit save. So it'll put the audio back in there, even though it says it's 0 audio. Don't pay attention to that. It's in there. So at this point, we can get rid of the MTS file that we had opened with the audio that is off, and we can open the new MTS file, which has the audio already adjusted the way we want it. So we'd do that. We'd open it up. Of course, we can just copy. Of course, these are MPEG files. We don't need any shift at all. And we can go through our normal procedure of cutting out commercials, which will only take about 5 minutes. Real quickly, once you take out the commercials, then you just save the MTS file, and it should be the audio should be exactly where it should be. As the frames are, the audio should be exactly there. And then you can make MP4s, go into part 2, which is encoding, that kind of thing. Now, I do want to say one thing. Once you do get that step, you make the MTS files, you got all your commercials out, it's pristine. You can watch it at this point on smart TV, through the USB, or on your computer, that kind of thing. But if you encode, once you encode, you can keep the AC3 there. And I recommend using, after this is all done, you've encoded all these things to MP4, your final step can be, and what I usually do is use FFmpeg. Basically, what I want to do is take the AC3 and use a popular format, AAC. And once I did this, I had the MP4 already with the AC3, but use the FFmpeg to kind of go over it and change it to AAC. And it's just, FFmpeg is just command line, and there's batch code that you can just drop once you have take it from our website, and I'll give that to you, gammaphase.ultravista.org. Go into the batch, author batch code, and you just drag the MP4 on there, and it will do the encoding. And what I noticed when it did that, it said that the AC3 audio was not synced. So it led me to believe that there was some kind of sync problem or some kind of code in there that said, okay, this is synced at this time code, that kind of thing. Because whatever it did, it synced the correct time with the audio and video. So this might be recommended. If you have any trouble with the AC3, I recommend using FFmpeg to make it AAC, because it does some kind of time code sync for AAC. So whatever editing I did made it just a little off by 1.7 seconds. And so this FFmpeg kind of saw that and corrected it. So just a note if you're having any trouble with the audio. I think that's it for the tips on the synchronizing. So that's my method. It's worked so far. If I got any of the details wrong about the codec or about how it encodes, the AAC encodes, when I make the new MTS file, please put it down in the comments, the correct answer, if you know it. I think it encodes. So every time you do this, whatever this is set at, it will take, even if it's the same format and same everything, it will still re-encode to make the new file. That's what I believe. So if anyone has any comments or a different method, put them down in the comments. I hope this video was of some help to you. This is a new method I've tried. I might have another video if I find a new way or a different codec I want to use. But this is my initial feeling on how off these shows can be now and to get the audio right. So keep coming back to the IDBand channel for more videos, and have a good one.